Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to pour and finish a concrete walkway with exposed aggregate finish. This is on the side of a house. Please continue watching until the end because we're going to be showing you the entire detailed process on how we poured it and how we finish everything. If you want to learn how to set forms and pour all kinds of concrete work with the proper finishing techniques, then you're in the best place here on YouTube, since that's all we do here at Eternal Rock Construction. Consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and activate the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos. Here we have approximately 55 lineal feet of 3 to 4 foot wide concrete walkway that we're going to be pouring today with exposed aggregate finish. We have our line pump going all the way through the area. We put plastic up on the side of the house so that way we make sure everything is covered and protected. We're going to be pouring up against this rock wall that you see right here and also against the house foundation. So we're starting over here in the back side of the house next to the existing patio. We have those foundation vent wells, and we put that metal stake right there with a nail that is going through the stake. That's helping us to give us a reference point for the level. And right here we have that come along rake, and we're also using a screed board. We have many different sizes of the screed board on hand. In this case, we're using one so that way we can screed the concrete from the existing patio and it goes all the way to the other side where the walkway is going to continue. And then we're going to use this other screed board that's a little bit smaller to screed this area here on the side. We're going ahead and pulling that concrete because it was a little bit low, so that's where those come along rakes are very useful. We're able to pull the concrete or push it depending on whatever we need. And the guys, you know, they also use their boots and they just kind of drag it or push it with their boots, or if they need a little bit, they just kind of get it with their hands on, you know, they have their gloves, so they get the concrete and then they just sprinkle it over the areas or pull it or whatever's needed. So right here he's using that other screed board, just continuing to screed the concrete in multiple directions. And you can see right there we're continuing to pump all of the concrete. We have very limited access, and this is because we have an existing rock wall on one side, and then on the other side we basically have the house foundation. So we're pouring directly up against the foundation, and we have those stakes on the other side close to the rock wall. We already set those up with a string line, and we, like I said, we have that nail through there so we can feel for the surface. And then we have this really long screed board. This helps us to cover a large area, so that way we get a nice level in a, you know, in a long stretch. And then from there we're just screeding the middle part with a smaller screed board, and you can tell right there we're getting a nice beautiful level that is consistent all the way through. And so this is that way we can get the level as close as we can to the slope of the concrete. Right here we're continuing to pour. We're getting close to the edge of the house. And then another thing we do is we also float the concrete there up against the house. And then over here we're using that long screed board again so we can cover another decent sized, so that way we can advance and we can just be as efficient as possible. So having those screed boards, especially those long ones, you can definitely, you know, get it done pretty easily. And then we're using that bull float right there. We had to attach like 2 or 3 additional extension poles. That way you can reach it from that patio, and then you can go all the way really far. We had to do all of this because we don't have a lot of access, you know, to get in there. So when we have to deal with this kind of scenarios, this is one thing that we do. We just have a lot of extension poles on our tools, and that way we can just work it as best as possible. So right there we're screeding the concrete. You can see how he's just kind of dragging the concrete back and just gliding it across the surface, just getting it really close to the level. It's all sloping towards the back over here, and then it curves around the side of the house, and then we're getting here to the gate, and then from there it just continues all the way to the driveway. So right here the walkway narrows down to 3 feet wide, and now we came in through a different angle. We have our bull float, and we're able to get it enough, you know, to cover the entire area. So we're gonna go ahead and float the entire surface. This helps us to further even out the surface and just kind of, you know, float the entire area. We also have those hand floats. We're using that on all of the perimeter of the walkway, and he's basically just reaching down from the side. And another thing we do right away is we're gonna start opening up those joints. That's what you see right there. We have a couple. We're doing them every like 5 or 6 feet apart, and we're basically just maneuvering that tool as best as we can. When we started right there, we were able to do it at an angle, but once you glide it over here close to the wall, then we have to like readjust the tool so that way it's a little bit more straight, and then from there we can continue to do the rest of the joint. So that's what you see right there. He basically reached to the point that he can, and then he straightened it out, and then from there you can just continue it, so that way you can get all the way to the other side. And those joints are very crucial because it helps us to control the cracks in all of those areas. So right there you can see we did all the joints all the way through the walkway, and this is going to make our job a lot easier, because later we're going to give it another pass through those joints like 2 or 3 times. But if you open it early enough, then later it's just going to be a lot easier. And then right here we're starting to trowel the surface. This helps us to seal it up and further even everything out. And then we're also just floating the edges right there. So the nice thing is that the height difference wasn't that bad, so they were able to reach through you know, from the one side, and we're able to float all of that edge with the float, and then also trowel it. So that's what he's doing right here. He's troweling all of the edges, and then once you do that over here, we're starting to do the edging. The edging will need to be done a couple times throughout the process. And so after we waited about an hour for the concrete to dry, we're starting to float and trowel all of the surface area. The only way to do this properly is we're using a couple of knee pads. That's what he has right there. And so he basically just maneuvers those as needed, and that allows him to get right into the concrete and work the surface. The first thing that he's doing is he is basically moving the float He's floating the entire surface, just kind of scrubbing it with that float, evening everything out. And wherever he has any low spots, he is filling it in with the concrete and just making sure everything is floated properly. And then after that, he is troweling the surface. That helps to seal everything and just gives it a nice, smooth finish. And this process, we're gonna be doing it another time. So this is the first time we're doing this in depth. And then after this, we're gonna go back in a second time and do the same thing. But at the second time, that's gonna be the final one. And then after that, we're just gonna apply water mixed in with sugar. I have another video that I recorded recently where we extended a driveway. You'll want to check that out. It's a few videos back, and that shows you it's pretty straightforward. We just put, we mix water with the sugar in our tank, and then we just spray it all over, and that causes a reaction with the surface. So then we're just going to come back the following day and pressure wash everything, and that's going to give us a really beautiful exposed aggregate finish. So that's pretty much the process on how we pour and finish a concrete walkway with limited access with exposed aggregate finish. We hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Activate the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future videos that we will be uploading in the near future. May God bless you, and we'll see you on the next one.